talking about blue-green algae being the first life form.
Right.
And you were talking about chromosomes and
Right.
How the chromosomes are getting weaker because of the generations and more people crossbreeding or whatever.
But it has nothing to do with algae. Just remember this, not only crossbreeding, it's assaulting our bodies with chemicals, assaulting our bodies with information, assaulting our bodies with non-nutritious food, assaulting our bodies with substances like sugars and fats and salts. That's why we're getting weaker. The algae has nothing to do with that. What algae is a foundation. It's sort of what we've done is we've taken this beautiful mansion called our human bodies. We've come in with axes and hammers and we've beaten it to the ground. What the algae does is fix the house again. So now we have more normal, if not perfectly normal, chromosomal function. Just like as an example, when we look at things like autism, it's chromosomal damage. Also Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, all of these eventually, as they become more and more chronic, can change chromosomes and discipline. So this fixes it.
So it's actually making the chromosome itself stronger.
Oh yeah. 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 Here we go.
Okay. What I found out with people in raw foods communities before, previous raw food lifetimes,
The enthusiast.
sometimes, including my own, sometimes the energy gets very, very high, and I actually like my mellow self. When I'm here, I notice that some of the people here, like you and your wife who are here, can have that mellow side too. I'm wondering what causes that over, like,
Sugar.
craze high,
Sugar.
and how to balance it.
Sugar. It's a very simple answer. Sugar is a drug. It's the most addictive substance on the planet. And if you want to create hyperactivity, confusion, and shortened lifespan, take a lot of sugar. And again, we have now convened 3 living food leadership gatherings. The last one was the beginning of May this year. And for 6 years, every major, influential, intelligent leader has told people not to eat fruit, not to eat sugar, not to do this. Why? Well, how do I know? Because I did everything wrong. How did Gabriel know? He did everything wrong. How did George Malcolmus know? He did everything wrong. We all had to learn from experience. And that's it. And so, there's enthusiasts in the raw food community, and then there's players. Cheerleaders and players. You have to join. You want to be a cheerleader? A lot of fun. You want to get healthy? You got to be a player. Yes?
From a reforming cheerleader. About 5 years.
I always had an eye on you.
Once we made incorporated these changes, especially the sprouts and everything, and our body is healing or healed itself, what is a reasonable generic amount of fruit?
15% by weight. Now that's when you're healthy. I mean, you have to remember, this precludes almost everything. No viruses in the body. We all have viruses, but no active virus. No bacteria, no mold, no yeast, no fungus, no low blood sugar, no high blood sugar, no cancer. Now that wipes out 85 to 90% of it. You shouldn't be eating fruit. And so the 10% that don't have any of that happening, and we are sure of that, not because we mystically figured that out, because we look at several blood tests and say, hey, this person's doing well. Then we can say to you, ripe, that's a big problem, more than anything, ripe organic fruit, 15% by weight. In simple English, that means for every 10 pounds of food you eat, hopefully in our age, that takes 4 days to happen, 5 days to happen, 1.5 pounds. In my house, maybe a half a pound.
Do you know how many website information things you just debunked?
Again, I guess the #1 thing on websites is pornography, so I wouldn't be surprised if pornographic information too. Yes. Any questions?
What do you recommend for lessening brain fog due to candida yeast infection?
Getting rid of the candida yeast infection and taking things like what we just spoke about. More protein, 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 less sugar, fruit, things that break down the sugar, and that's the key. And it takes time. The problem with candida, it takes longer than early stage cancers to go. And Why? Because you got to scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub, and if you screw up and go out and eat one candy bar, even if it's only agave syrup, you're not back to the beginning, but you're certainly closer to the beginning than you were here. That's the problem. It's got to be a religious experience. You have to become like a nun and lock yourself into the reality. And once you do that, by the way, and as long as you don't go crazy again, you're going to be able to eat a little bit of fruit in the future. Remember, Candida is something that is naturally occurring everywhere in our environment. Why we now have it as a disease and didn't have it before, because our immune systems are weak. It's like the walls on our fortresses have been lowered. So now Candida and viruses and mold and cancer and all this stuff pours over the top of it and gets into us. That's just the way it is. Candida wasn't a disease 30, 40 years ago. Yes?
You say that this diet is the highest protein diet.
Yes.
I want to find out, is this diet good for all people, or there are some contraindications, like for people with kidney disease?
No, this is good for all people. And you just have to tailor the program to the person. That's it. But all people were built to eat a raw food diet. Let's explain some facts to you. Number one, every creature on this earth except humans and the animals we control eat 100% raw diet. Number two, the longest living tribes of people, grant you they're only small groups now because we've killed everyone else off, are the longest living people eating mostly raw food. Now, when I went to some of these expeditions, I'm going to tell you, yeah, sure they ate raw food, but why they were really living a long time, they were happy as hell. One thing I learned, these people were happy, running around, laughing, equality, women were equal to men, children were considered the same as an older person. That was really my observation. It was a happy factor more. Yes, they eat food, but happy people do good things to themselves. And again, is it only food? No. I know a whole lot of really sick people who eat really well because they don't exercise, and they're negative people. And so they get anal about it. You know, and then people say, well, if you think you're positive you can do anything, well, that's bullshit too, because there's chemistry. You know, the reality is, if I give you poison, you're gonna die. You know, no matter how happy you are, you could be Mahatma Gandhi, and I give you poison, you're gonna die. The reality is, it's a combination of things. But you've got to tailor the program, and even when you tailor the program, remember, every case is a little different. That's why we do the diagnostic work. That's why for the rest of your life we work with you. We get a whole lot more information than almost everyone else I know on the planet when we do at the beginning and the end, but that's only the beginning. A year, 10 years, 20 years from now, I'll know you better than I know you now. That's how it is, the evolution and watching the chemistry and watching how things change.